Steve, how you doing, brother?
Great to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Bro, the stuff that I'm watching with Kash Patel. Did Iran actually hack Kash Patel, or was Iran actually some of the people who used to work with James Comey and Andrew McCabe?
Let me drop some knowledge on you.
Please.
So the FBI has their rule book. It's called the DIOG, Domestic Investigations Operations Guide. And there's a portion in there, it's called Appendix G. And it basically stipulates that the FBI can open up a full counterintelligence investigation on anyone who they believe could be the target, like the victim of a recruitment scheme from a foreign actor. So that leak indicates that there's actually a full counterintelligence investigation open on Kash Patel at this time. They're doing it for his benefit, of course, but they're going to get full access through national security letters to his banking records, all of his electronic communications, again, to protect him against that recruiting.
And the fact that that information finds its way to the front page of CNN is just, I mean, they just must have great sources, really.
I mean, look, Andy McCabe over at CNN now, I'm sure he's just giving guidance back to his Rolodex of contacts within the FBI.
That's right. These people, they're such sick bastards, aren't they? So expect this playbook to be used against Kash Patel. You are saying that they are now scraping through everything that Kash has ever done, even though he received awards for his work inside the Justice Department, 16 years inside the Justice Department, then working for special operations and being one of the lawyers protecting the highest echelons of military service. They're going to go back through and they're going to try and sabotage Kash because it's a threat to the system.
They are also trying to cull through his foundation. Look, I was pinged by NBC to provide my comments about the Fight with Kash Foundation, which it basically serves to assist military veterans and whistleblowers. And they want to, I don't know, paint some sort of corruption scandal on that. Look, my experience with Kash Patel was, we're talking about a guy who has some investigative skills. 2 years ago, during Thanksgiving, actually, I got a phone call from a number I didn't know, but I was getting lots of weird phone calls at the time because my name had just become out. And I answer it, and it's a gentleman who says, "Hey, this is Kash Patel, and I have a foundation that supports whistleblowers. I would like to give you, because you're unpaid, indefinitely suspended forever by the FBI, $5,000. My foundation is going to give you that donation to get your family through Christmas. I don't want any attention on this. Don't tell anybody. This is just something that I do because I believe in." That's the character of the man who is tapped to become the next FBI director.
Wow. That's remarkable. I've honestly never heard that story. Kash has been on the program talking about the work of his foundation. That's remarkable, Steve. What an honorable thing to do. So you're saying that that this honorable man, who we distinctly want and advocate for and are campaigning for to get the job at the FBI, that they aren't done launching dirty tricks at Kash. What do you expect next? I mean, what does this mean effectively? Can you explain in layman's terms the counter intel operation that is being run against Kash Patel? What should we expect from this?
I think they're going to do something similar to what we saw with Donald Trump, where they take him literally and not seriously, where the statement that Kash makes, sort of a tongue-in-cheek, I would shut down the FBI headquarters and reopen it as a museum to the deep state. There will be a lot of pearl clutching at something like that, where it's a throwaway line and it's him saying that the entire thing needs to be paradigm shifted and rethought, and we need to get a lot of the bodies out of Washington, D.C., out of the swamp, actually going after criminals out there. But they're going to try to paint that with him, and as well as just question his bona fides, which he's got extremely eminent qualifications. Look, the one element that seems to get overlooked a lot that I like to hammer on is he started his career as a lawyer, as a public defender. Yes. Not white shoe law firm, $600 an hour public defender. I'm talking about federal public defender, local public defender. He has an appreciation for the power that the government can bring to bear to make the process the punishment. And for anyone on the communist left to have problems with a Kash Patel, when you have a person of color who came from a public defense standpoint, that's a wet dream for you. But it just sort of shows that they are not really about the messaging that they push out there, because they're outcome driven. They're not really process driven people.
So should we expect a Kavanaugh style, Donald Trump style, Russiagate op to be launched against Kash? It does seem to me, Steve, that the FBI is the birthplace of all dirty tricks, is currently housing the Epstein list, the Diddy list, all of the Biden files that they refused to give to Chairman James Comer, who's just on the program. This is ground zero for every op that has been launched against the American public. I mean, let's not even talk about January 6th and how many FBI agents might have been in the audience, in the crowd, and how many of them behaved illegally. It seems like this is like the vanguard. This is what they're this is Helm's Deep, man. They must defend this place. And if we breach the ramparts here, then it's kind of over. And that's why they're gonna, I think, do everything they can to keep Kash from getting the chair.
We'll go into the DNA of the FBI, right?
Please.
You have Hoover, who basically had DROG on everyone in order to keep the agency going. And what's amazing is you go to the old timer agents who even served underneath them. He is still a beloved figure. I think that his intentions, be it as they may with having the derogatory Oppo research on people, were just for the Bureau to attain a place. And he really came from a position of wanting to root out communism. But be that as it may, he had his pros and his cons. Kash Patel has a chance to become the most beloved director since Director Hoover, because he's going to come in and he'll be confirmed. I'm actually feeling more confident now as I'm seeing like a Ted Cruz come out and speak on his behalf as somebody who's respected and sort of comes from the conservative side, but at the same time has the chops and is respected across the entire caucus of the Republicans. But he's going to come in when the FBI is at its absolute depths, absolutely no trust from the public. And he's going to do something along the lines of the Twitter files. Just open up everything, because he's starting with a fresh slate. He's not going to come in and get co-opted and then all of a sudden have to protect the agency. He doesn't have the rosy colored glasses in front of him like so many of these directors do that are just struck by the mystique and aura of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He's actually seen the corruption because he worked on Russiagate. And let's reveal the Epstein files. Let's reveal the P. Diddy files, the Vegas shooting files, the Covenant Christian cover-up. Yes. Let's get to all of those things so the American people can know about it and say, hey, look, we are coming to you and saying it's a new day. Can you give us this one chance? Because otherwise, there is no way forward for the country to exist with a secret police force, the FBI.
Yes. Okay. So you hit on a couple of scandals that there's too many to really enumerate. It's hard to actually keep them all in line. Now, based on your deep and institutional understanding of the FBI, what would you advise Kash to do first to amend the system? Would it be the D class, the full D class? What about the mass exodus that we keep hearing about of people that would mass resign? I mean, would you welcome that at the FBI?
Oh, I would absolutely welcome it, because the people that are going to be backing out are doing things that they're professionally useless people for the most part. They're political ideologues who are going to take this protest and take their ball and go home with it. Most of them aren't, because most FBI agents are financially beholden to the Bureau. They live hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, which should really render the American people very concerned that their premier law enforcement agency is filled with compromised people outside of the political activists. That's not going to happen. But what I would advise Kash to do, a couple of things. One, eliminate the quota system, the IPM, integrated program management, that says the FBI has to open up a certain number of cases and arrest a certain number of people every single year. That inversely perverts the incentive structure for law enforcement, because now they're incentivized to bring crime up. Let's use the law as a weapon to get our stats up so that we can go to Congress and say, give us more funding, so our senior executives can get bonuses, because they get bonuses when their underlings arrest the right number of people. I would also do away with the intelligence collection apparatus that they have. That's the secret police force. That's a Stasi thing. Tactical intelligence, I go to my intelligence analyst and say, hey, what's the license plate of the bad guy that I'm going after? So if I see him, I'll know, right? But just opening up a case on Benny because, I don't know, I got a funny feeling about that guy. Let me dig into his records, which is what they do now. That needs to go away. And then also just revamp the way that they're actually bringing in the personnel, which since 2009, when Barack Obama took the reins, the personnel have been brought in have been essentially all Marxist communists. And they are bought in wholly to the power of the FBI. And a lot of them, because they're DEI, are not capable of doing the job, and they know it. So they will just follow orders in order to keep that gravy train. I mean, 5 years into the Bureau, you're making $130K, 50 paid days off a year, 3 paid hours a week to work out, work on your mental health. It's a pretty sweet gig.
50 days off a year? 50 days?
50 days
That's
between
insane.
all of it.
What? I don't think we take 50 hours off on this program. Yeah, I don't know. Killer Klein's over here. We've slept in the studio. That's insane. What? Yeah, I haven't slept since Nam. Yeah, that's right. Hey, poor ALX. If we take 50 minutes off and we miss something on X, I'm like, where were we? That's garbage, dude. That's garbage. I don't know. There's this post. ALX, can you find that one post that FBI agent that was kneeling, the famous kneeling BLM FBI agents? I just really quickly, while I have you here, Steve, want to get your take on this. ALX will grab it. I'm sure you know the photo.
Yeah, it's the Neil Team 6.
Neil Team 6. That's it. Meal Team 6. That's exactly right. So this was of course allowed. Here it is, right here. This is of course allowed. Now I went viral by putting this up and saying her first, fire her first, and you'll send a message to everyone that the FBI is back in business of fighting crimes and solving crimes. And not doing exactly what you said, which is psychotic political activism, which this photo must disgust you. Can you explain? Can you unpack this? How endemic is this at the FBI?
This is legion in the FBI. And by the way, she's been promoted since then. And all those agents got gift cards for being good and faithful servants to the regime. But this sort of person is legion in the FBI, particularly now that they are wholly bought in on the 30 by 30 initiative. That's nationwide, not just the FBI, all law enforcement. It's an initiative to get to 30% female participation in law enforcement, not just to the rank and file, but actually into executive leadership positions. But it's essentially cultural Marxism, because you look at it, and I have in depth, and it says things like, we need to get rid of job knowledge tests because they're discriminatory. Physical fitness standards are misogynistic. Grooming standards are anti-woman. We have to get rid of things that are, as they call them, white culture, which is like being on time and having a healthy respect for the English common law. The FBI is all in on this. All of the DOJ is, and they're getting people that are foot soldiers for absolute Marxism into positions of power and authority, and they have all the tools to go after their political enemies. They have an axe to grind, and they're going to use all the authority they've been given. This has to go away. This has to stop in immediate action. I'm talking about, like, this is a day one sort of thing that Director Patel is going to have to bring about.
Yeah, okay. So final question on, I guess, FBI personnel is in my timeline right now that Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, is now overseeing the Diddy case fresh off the Ghislaine Maxwell case. This just doesn't smell right. I've never worked for the FBI. I don't know James Comey. I don't want to know James Comey. But he is like, how his daughter could get a job and then stay in good standing inside the Bureau is remarkable to me. Do you think these kind of things should be going on? Does this give you does this set off an alarm for Steve Friend?
Oh, there's an enormous amount of nepotism that goes on. Look, James Comey, he's a human walking middle finger to the rest of the country, as tall as he is. He sort of looks like that. He ran an
especially in his Kamala shirt, especially in his Kamala Harris white dudes for Kamala shirt.
He ran an off-the-books honeypot operation where he told undercover female agents to infiltrate the Donald Trump campaign and then have sex with George Papadopoulos to dig up dirt. And after that, sent agents over to the White House to go and entrap Mike Flynn. This is a guy who was surrounded by people that they called the College of Cardinals, because he said that he was beyond reproach and nonpartisan. But he, again, was a communist who did favors, I'm sure, to get his daughter into a place where she can have an axe to grind. I'm sure that's recreational prosecution from her. She's getting high-profile cases, which will look really good on a resume one day when she applies to high levels within the DOJ, if it's not remade by Pam Bondi, or to some white shoe law firm.
Wow. Yeah. What a rat's nest, dude. What a system that needs to be utterly and completely destroyed. If you're in favor of that, and if you agree with that, then you must follow Steve Friend. You must. So the suspendable. Okay, I thought you were a Hamilton fan. Are you a Hamilton fan? I don't know. I mean, are you? That's okay. I mean, you can be.
My counterpart, Garrett Boyle, is a wizard within the trying to draw stuff online. And,
okay.
You'll notice that Hamilton is carrying an AR in that one. So
okay, that's it. You got it. Okay, it's beautiful. There we go. Okay, we can see the butt end of it. Okay, you got to follow Steve. He's one of the few who's like speaking truth. He's one of the truly most consequential whistleblowers in the modern era. and a true homie, and we learned so much from him. Him and Mike Benz, man. Whenever you have one of them on, like, you will get a head full of knowledge. Thank you, Steve.
You got it. Thanks.